Hello and welcome to another edition of Fix 64. I'm Darren Hadley, and today I am looking at the Blackview Mini PC. The model number is MP60, and it has 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 512 gigabyte SSD. And this, by the way, this is a voiceover because I had some audio problems. So if my hands don't match what I'm saying or whatever, then that's what it is. Anyway, this has the N150 processor from Intel. As you can see, I'm playing some games on it, and through Xbox cloud computing, and it plays really good. And I'm sure it plays emulators just fine, stuff like that. So yeah, it can be an entertainment PC. You could put it right into your entertainment center near your TV and plug it into HDMI and grab a controller and have a fun afternoon. And the Alder Lake one, or it's an upgrade from Alder Lake, the N100, and it's a 10% improvement. And the unit itself is 5 inches by 5 inches and 2.1 inches tall. And it can be stowed in a bag, carried around. It's great for travel. It can also be mounted to a wall or a VESA on a monitor to save space, keep your desktop tidy. There's also an expandable slot on the very bottom where you can put a SATA SSD drive, a 2.5 inch. And it is suitable for finance, data analysis, home stuff, maybe a college student just writing a paper, surfing the web. You can run 2 monitors on it at 4K 60 megahertz, and it has Wi-Fi 5, Bluetooth 4.2. You could actually use it as I don't know, a Plex server or something like that, where you can fit that 2.5 inch SSD in the bottom. That makes it really handy. Also, I know you can, if you open it up, you can replace the SSD drive. Now the RAM is soldered in, so you can't replace that. But overall, it looks like a really good little unit, and we should get to the unboxing. Okay, let's unbox this thing. Let me grab my knife. There we go. Now, yes, this is still voiceover, so you can't hear me cutting the plastic or tearing it off or whatever. The box, yeah, it's a really nice box. And then the interior packaging kind of reminds me of Apple, so very nice. And yeah, this thing's really light. It's really nice. Okay, as you can see on the bottom, there's the 2 screws you take out to put the 2.5 inch SATA drive in. And then those locks are you can actually detach that compartment and make it even smaller if you don't want the 2.5 inch capability. Anyway, on the side, you have the power button, 3 USB Type A, and then on the back, you have a USB Type A and a headphone combo, microphone jack, got a gigabit Ethernet port. You have two HDMI ports, as I mentioned earlier, and of course the power. There's an instruction manual and the power brick, which is really small. That's very nice. That's all there is to it. It's not really a brick. And then an HDMI cable and a VESA mounting bracket and screws. So they set you up pretty well. Also, I'd like to thank Blackview for sending this mini PC sample over for me to look at. This is very, very fun for me to do. All right, and that is the unboxing. I don't really need the VESA bracket or any of that, so we'll put that to the side. Okay, now let's detach the bottom, and I'll show you. It's held on by a USB-C, and yeah. So if you don't want to use that part, then you have a VESA mount on that part too, and feet, rubber feet. Yeah, that makes it really small. Okay, don't try this at home. I don't know if it voids the warranty or not, but you know, this is Fix 64. We have to crack into some stuff. And the feet are just, they have an adhesive and they're just covering the screws. And then that portion, that also had the rubber feet. So yeah, you have both options. SSD or no SSD. I'm curious though if that USB-C port on the bottom like works like a normal one. It probably does. I mean, you're attaching the storage bay, which would be about the same thing as attaching an external hard drive. So yeah. Yeah, there's only 4 little screws. And then when you take the lid off, you need to be careful because there's a wire attached. You can just set that aside, and if you want to change the NVMe, you can. And there's that wire. Yeah, as you can see, there's no DIMM or SODIMM slots for any RAM. That 16 gigs is that's enough for what this thing needs. And the SSD drive, it's pretty fast. And then yeah, you just replace the screws and the feet. And it's as simple as that. Okay, now we're going to open up the bottom panel and we'll just install one of my 128 gigabyte SATA drives that yeah, there's a good possibility that it's formatted in Mac OS. So it probably won't be seen by Windows. This has Windows 11 Pro with it, by the way. Or you could also install Linux or whatever you want there. But yeah, see the little compartment? There's the SATA hookups. And let's throw this Patriot Burst 120 gigabyte in. And, you know, since I know the future, because this is a voiceover after the fact, yeah, we couldn't find the drive in Windows. It was formatted for Mac. So. But yeah, throw a 2 terabyte in there and you got some storage. I think that was a really neat feature about this mini PC. All right, once that's in, we can put it back together. Hook up the USB-C. And we'll lock it into place. Okay, I've got it all hooked up to my monitor and Ethernet and mouse and keyboard. Let's see what happens. Ooh, it has RGB. Very nice. All right, we are in Windows setup. Everything's working great. Oh wait, it thinks I'm in the United Kingdom. Alright, I am going to go through the rest of this because I'm sure you don't want to watch it. And I'll be right back. Wow, we are already into Windows. It didn't take very long, and it just set up a local account. So no signing into Microsoft or any of that. So that's pretty cool. Let's look at some system info. MP60, Intel N150, running at 800 megahertz, and I think it turbo boosts up to 3.4. Windows 11 Pro. It does not have the 24H2 version yet. And there's the support information. Nice. Wow, control panel. Yeah, this thing's pretty snappy. Very cool. Not bad for $169.99. Yeah, it's all set up. It already has all the drivers. And see how much. It has the usual Windows bloatware, but yeah, I'm not seeing Norton or anything like that. So yeah, it comes pretty clean. Just your usual Windows stuff. I can hear the fan a teeny bit, but not that bad. Okay, I'm installing Geekbench. I guess we'll try that. Yeah, of course it's not gonna beat a lot of the higher processors, but you know, this thing serves a purpose and it does it well. Alright, one processor, 4 cores, 800 to 3.591 megahertz. So let's run the CPU benchmark, and like I say, it is what it is. I mean, it's a nice PC to do office work and stuff. That's what it's for. And I bet they sell these, a lot of these, because I mean they're affordable and pretty good looking. I mean that RGB over there. Now notice it didn't find my little 120 gigabyte drive. That's probably because it was formatted in Mac OS. So yeah, that didn't work out, but you know, you get a brand new one in there and 2 terabytes and you got some space to work with. It's really cool. Okay, that finished, and we're single core score 1113, multi-core 1749. That's what I expected, somewhere in there. And yeah, it's, you know, doesn't go up against my new MacBook Pro 16-inch M4 Max, but it's kind of in the single core score area of the Mac Mini 2018 with an i7 8700, so that's good. And a Mac Pro 5.1, and I did Windows Update, and it looks like it needs to play catch up for a while, so maybe I'll run Geekbench again after. But yeah, I mean, these units aren't meant to be powerhouses. They're meant to get some work done and take up little space doing so. So yeah, I'm impressed with it. It's snappy. It opens up programs really quick. You can get work done. It's awesome. So yeah, I recommend it, and you know, if you can get it for this price on Prime Day, it's really, really, really worth it. And I think the regular retail 200, I mean, that's a really awesome price. So yeah, look for the Blackview MP60. Very cool. Okay, I am back with some results after I updated Windows fully and everything. And we're 1101 and 2263. Let's see how that compares to earlier before the updates. So a little less on that, but wow, the multi-core definitely went up. So yeah, updates really do help sometimes, and sometimes they don't. So yeah. Okay, I am in the BIOS. Okay, turbo mode is enabled. Alright, I booted back into Windows, and I just want to thank Blackview for sending me this mini PC to look at and play with. And I want to thank all my viewers and my subscribers, and there is a 5% discount in the description, so take advantage of it. And everyone have a good day or night or whatever it is wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.